Good evening, everyone. Thank you for those who are jumping on right now. Hi, Linda. How are you? If you can hear me, okay, just let me know. And Linda and Pam. I love it when I get two Lindas in a row. It's been happening a lot lately. Let's see who else is on. Hi, Mindy. Carol. Good evening. Thank you for hopping on this Saturday evening. I know you probably could have some other plans, but I'm really happy that you're with me. Hi, Ruby. Thank you for letting me know that I sound okay. And hey, Linda, 3 Lindas. I think that's probably got to be the most common name. Hi, Beth. How are you from Maine? And hi, Margie. Claudia. Yay. It's so nice to see you guys saying hello to each other. So tonight's Facebook Live, we are putting the May Block of the Month Barn Quilt cards together. And this is a monthly card kit that I offer. We have been going strong since October of 2020, and I do not believe we have repeated a block yet. Can you believe that? We are going on 5 years and we haven't repeated a block. Not that I could tell. I mean, there's blocks that look similar, but you know, in quilting, add a half square triangle here, take a half square triangle out, put a little, I mean, you can change one block into so many other variations. That's the fascinating thing about quilt blocks. They can be so unique and so easily morphed into another pattern just by adding or taking away pieces. So, anyway, since October of 2020, we have been doing these. They're little mini quilts, actually. The actual quilt block doesn't get any bigger than 2¼ inches. So these are like miniature quilt blocks. And a little bit of background. I started quilting in 1998. And up until the pandemic hit, I was going pretty strong with my sewing. Once the pandemic hit, it changed so many things for so many people. And our quilt guild, you know, of course, everybody stopped getting together. So I, you know, and it was so new when it happened that, you know, you weren't even going anywhere. So I sat out at our little patio in the backyard and I got all my card making, my scrapbooking papers out, and I started making quilt cards. And I just found like I was most comfortable in this lane if I was going to make cards because of for how many years that I was making quilts. So that's a little background on me in case you're new and watching, and maybe you didn't know that and you've been watching, but I started out as a quilter, and this is going so strong, and I am so happy in this place. I do miss sewing. I do miss touching fabric, and I you know, get out the fabric and I will play with little projects every now and then. But my main focus and my love is teaching you and showing you quilt blocks and learning from you, because there's other quilters on here that are taking patterns and sharing, and it's just an awesome thing. So I feel like I'm in my lane. I'm happiest right here. And so that's what we do. Hey, Shirley. Hello. How's everything in Canada? Hey, are those fires anywhere near you, Shirley? I know we've got smoke coming down. Ohio could get some of the smoke tonight. And we have a chance tomorrow night of the Northern Lights. We have a strong chance of Northern Lights here in the upper part of Ohio come tomorrow. Hi, Sandy and Melinda and Sherry. Susan, Hey, good morning in Australia. That is so wonderful. Thank you for being here. And hi, Kelly. Okay, so I don't want to rush. It's a Saturday evening. We can kind of relax and take our time, right? We will get into our block of the months here. And these colors and these patterns really spoke to me on to where they're easily like could be masculine cards. Have you ever noticed how many men appreciate and remember quilts that their grandmothers made or even their moms made? Men are very aware of quilts and the the special meanings behind them when they're gifted. And so this pattern here is actually a crab claw pattern, they called it. And you can see the little crab claws, right? But I thought they reminded me of wrenches in a toolbox. So by adding the little metal gem here, I thought it looked like the little screw in the middle of the wrench. And I thought that this lent really well if we're thinking about the men, that maybe this would be a good Father's Day card. You can absolutely change the colors, but at least you have the pattern. If you purchased the kit or the PDF, you will have the pattern and you can make it into any colors that you want. And then this pattern right here reminded me of like a circular saw. So when I was thinking tools and I'm looking at this pattern, it's actually like a pinwheel and another variation of a pinwheel. But adding these other triangles, I saw a circular saw. So again, I'm just thinking of the guys. So it's a beautiful little pattern and in any color. But just wanted to give these a try and have them done before June so that you could give them as Father's Day cards if you wanted to. Okay, so let me catch up here. Hi, Aileen. So yeah, hey, Ellen, thank you for being here. So let's get started, and I'm going to follow. So in the kit, you can get the kit two different ways. You can get the kit where you actually get the cardstock and the colored cardstock that you have to cut down per the instructions in the PDF, or you can just get the PDF. If you're out of the United States, I can't send you a kit, but I can email you the PDF and then you use product that you have. Okay, there's a Google form on the Chirpy Card Maker page that explains how this kit works and how you can get your information to me if you're interested, because you could start in June. Okay, so just gonna follow our PDF here, and then at the end I'll show you the alternative card that I included in the kit, that, in case you want to make a fun fold or just something different other than our standard A2 card. So following the PDF, I didn't think we were going to start out with the wrench right away, but that's the first one I listed. So we're going to start out with the wrench. Now, if you've got the kit, I ask that you have all your pieces cut ahead of time, because I don't go over any sizes and cutting instructions during this live, since this is a kit that is for purchase. So have your pieces cut, and if not, maybe you just want to watch and go through it, and then you'll be maybe feel a little bit more comfortable going at it by yourself after the live is over. So I've got my pieces. This is my background layer, or I like to refer to this as the frame for the barn quilt, and that's what it will sit on. And here I have our base square. And per the instructions in the PDF, I've already got a grid kind of drawn on there to help me with placement and also helps keep me straight. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that maybe you can see me or see the process here a little bit better. I think I have to move some things down, which is even better that I'm working right in, you know, in front of me instead of away from me. That's always a challenge. So, okay. So let's just get that out of the way. And let me get out my trusty instructions so that I can follow along instead of just delving in any way that I feel. So in the PDF, you got instructions on how to make your angled cuts that are these right here. There should be 4 of them. Okay, I just want to get them all going the same direction. Okay, so we're actually going to start with those. Now, you can start with any color that you want. And we're going to start with the angle's going to go down at the bottom and the angle's going to be leaning to the left. So this 90-degree angle up here is going to fit inside the 90-degree angle that we drew on our grid. Okay, so I'm just going to put some glue on the back, and a fine tip applicator really helps so that you don't get too much glue. Now, if you're not using liquid glue and you're using like maybe an adhesive runner or something, just know that you might not, it's not even a might, you're not going to get the wiggle room and the time to make any adjustments. So make sure that you are pretty confident of where you're putting that piece. So what I am going to do is I am going to turn my block counterclockwise. And what this is going to do is I am going to keep going back up to that upper left-hand corner each time. Okay? And so where's my trusty little... Okay, so I turned it a quarter of a turn, so I'm going to bring in the Lost Lagoon handle to our wrench. Again, my angle is leaning to the left, and I'm just going to put it right up there in that corner, and I'm going to follow that pencil line to just help keep me straight right there. Okay, so counterclockwise again, and I'm going to come in with peach pie. Now, all of these colors were inspired by a 6x6 piece of designer series paper that's in the beautiful gallery suite in the new annual catalog. And I will show it to you towards the end because I actually used some of that designer series paper to add to the back of my card base and to the insert just to give it some more interest. Okay, I think I have to move my paper over a little bit. Hi, Tina. Oh, you're going to have to catch the replay? Okay, that's great. Hi, Louise. And our last one is going to be the Calypso Coral. You just want to make sure that when you're putting glue on the back side of your pieces here, you want to make sure that it's on the right side, because if we would have put glue here and put it down, our angle would have been going in the opposite or the wrong direction. So this is what we have so far. Now I'm going to get back to the beginning and have starting with that cloud cover. And now what we're going to do is we are going to start filling in the rest of our wrench. So we've got some half square triangles, 2 of each in the 4 colors that we're working with. And before I glue anything down, see this open spot right here? Well, you should be able to wedge one of your triangles right down in there, okay? And the other triangle is going to go on the opposite side. And so we will just continue moving around and filling in these spaces to complete our wrench. And what I was looking for is I just wanted to make sure that my triangle fit down in there. Now this point here sits a little bit on top of that. And not that it made a huge difference, but what if I tried putting the other triangle in there? Look at how this one, and it's all in the cutting. It has to be in my cutting, and maybe just how far from the pencil line maybe I was. But this triangle seems to work a lot better in that spot, and I can just use this one over on the other side. And really, there's nothing for it to have to fit into. Okay, so play around with your pieces. Sometimes just flipping the piece over, for whatever reason, the angle of your cut, I mean, I can't explain it, but I have found that sometimes just flipping it over. And I love the feeling when it just feels like my piece snapped into place, like if you were making, putting a puzzle together. Unless something is grossly obvious, you decide, is it something you want to recut? Or are you comfortable with just making it work? It's all personal preference. Okay, so there's that one. Now we turn it counterclockwise again and get our half square triangles of Lost Lagoon. And again, I'm just going to play. I think I might like that one over there. I eyeball my cuts with my snips, so I'm not surprised if one side is a little bit shorter or smaller than the other, because I'm just eyeballing it. Well, maybe this other one worked better. I got a burr on the end of this one too. I want to take off. Oh, well, maybe it'll smudge in there when I go to quilt it. I'm going to leave that. We're going to go with it. Here I'm telling you, you know, don't over focus on it, and I am totally over focusing. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't that bad. I think all of this comes from when I do quilt. I love the challenge of half square triangles, especially if you've got points in your quilt pattern that need to line up and need to be perfect. I like that challenge. It's my favorite part of piecing a quilt together, are triangles and getting points to match up really well. And I will rip out. I'll rip out 5 or 6 times in order to get that point. It's just something that I really want to get. Ooh, that one's a little bit bigger. Let's put him over here. Oh, that one is really high too. But it's not so bad that I have to start over. How many of you really put pressure on yourself? Or are you really relaxed and you can just see if I smush that in there? You know what? I think I'm going to lay it kind of on top, because remember, I'm going to put this through an embossing folder that's going to help flatten stuff out. So I think if I just overlap it a little bit, I think I'm going to be okay. We'll see. We shall see. Do what you got to do to make yourself happy putting these together. Okay. And, okay, one more. All we've got is our Calypso coral, part of our wrench. Oh, I like that one already. It's going down. I'm not even going to try the other one. I liked it. Okay. And your first miniature quilt block is done. Your PDF will instruct you that if you have an embossing machine and you have a folder, that you can really lay this down. And here I'm going to bring in the main one to show you. Now this one I used the subtle embossing folder, which is retired, and you can just see how it's a very subtle pattern. But the pressure of the rollers will help smooth out any seams. So if I do overlap my cardstock just a little bit, it usually flattens it out. If you don't have a machine will not keep you from making these quilt blocks, okay? It is not necessary. I love a very flat, painted look to my blocks without any texture. I can go either way. So it's not something you have to have, but there's a lot of bonuses to having it. It just kind of melts all your pieces into each other so that it looks flawless. And sometimes you can't even tell that you have a triangle in there, because it just, like I said, just melts all the lines into each other. So I am going to put this to the side because I will do my embossing afterwards. I am going to use this one that I had prepared ahead of time. I will use this for when we put our cards together. And I'm sorry, I keep getting out of camera there, forgetting that I zoomed in so that you could see me do the piecing. So we're just going to sit those to the side. Becky says, I've seen my husband's tools. They're full of dings and dents. So that is such a neat thing to say. Thank you, Becky. I'm just going to, yeah, I love that. Thank you for that nice reminder. Judy's on. Hey, Judy. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Linda. So now I think we're up to 4 Lindas. Hi, Paulette. Paulette's asking, do you have a log cabin card? I did a log cabin a long time ago. In fact, we did a log cabin probably the first year. We did it in purples. Maybe that would be a good block to have as a Facebook Live on a Thursday, is revisit a log cabin block. Okay. All right. So let's, hi, Cheryl. Okay. So let's keep going. That was block A. So now for block B, gonna bring in my layers, and per the instructions, I added 2 more lines to the same grid. I just split it in half vertically and horizontally to help me get my pinwheel where I needed it to be. So let's see, we're starting with Calypso Coral, half square triangles. Okay, and we're gonna work from the very center of our block, and this half square triangle, the longest side is going to be on the right, and the tip of my triangle is going to be facing west or to the left. Okay, and I am going to glue that on the left side of my pencil line, okay, because our pinwheel is going to fill this in. So I'm going to put that in place, and then again counterclockwise, and I am going to that same spot each time. Okay, so I'm using that line. I'm going to put my longest side of my triangle on the pencil line or very close to it. It's up to you. And knowing that I am going to be putting 4 points right here in the center, I may want to push my triangle up to where this point here is closer to the top, because I have got to get 3 more points close together right there in the center. Okay, you might want to keep that in mind. Okay, counterclockwise, 1/4 of a turn. Again, a little bit of glue. I'm going to put it down exactly in the same spot I did the first one. Pushing it up towards the top there. Again, keeping in mind that I've got 2 more points that I have to get in that center. Okay. Zooming in, my hands are so big in the screen, it looks like that's all you guys see is my hands. Judy, I'm so glad you're watching. Okay, spin it, and let's just keep going until we've got all 4 of our Calypso Coral half square triangles. And 1 more. So we're working on our circular saw blade. And this one's going to go right there. I'm going to push him up a little bit. Not that I'm trying, that I have to fit any other pieces in. We're not worried about fitting any other triangles down in here, so that gives you some grace because you're not trying to fill that in. But if you want your points to look like they're all meeting really nice, then that's what you're looking for there in the center. And it doesn't have to be perfect. When your card is done, if you want to add embellishments, let's say that you're not real happy with your center, put a gem right in the center there and, you know, cover it up. Okay? So the second step is, okay. So now what we're wanting to do, let's use the finished one as to look at. We're going to work on our Lost Lagoon triangles. And what you want to envision is that we're going to close up this pinwheel. So we need to use those Lost Lagoon triangles to create the side that closes our pinwheel in. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, when we do it, we're always going to go to this area right here. And what we're doing is we are filling in the space between these two triangles. And our point of our triangle for Lost Lagoon is going to be pointing down. The longest side is going to be at the top. Okay? So, what that looks like, and the tip of your triangle should rest real close to the pencil, on the pencil line. Okay? So the tip should be meeting this outside tip of this triangle, but if you concentrate on getting your tip on the pencil line that you drew, that will come in handy too, and we're just connecting and closing in that side. Okay? So let's put this down. And you just want to, hold it up. You want to make sure that your longest line is straight. Okay? And when you're happy with it, give it a quarter of a turn. And let's repeat it. Okay? So the tip of my triangle is facing down. I'm looking to match up my points, but I also want to be straight because I'm creating this like boxed in, like a square on point. And just keep going. Okay, put that down, the point on the line, but you can move it around to make it work. There we go. Whoops. Okay, that looks pretty straight. Give it a turn, and we're closing in. We got the last wall on this inside pinwheel. Okay. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. And we'll just get back to our beginning. So that is the second step to putting this block together. Now we're going to work with the peach pie triangles. And what we're going to use as our guide is we're going to use this pencil line right here. Okay? And we're going to make sure that our point ends up on the horizontal pencil line. So the longest side of our triangle will be on the vertical pencil line. Our point should rest on the horizontal. So use that pencil line, the ones that we had drawn in, as your guide for placement. Just like that. Okay? And then, again, we're just going to give it a quarter of a turn counterclockwise. Maybe it's clockwise if you're left-handed. I don't know. I am right-handed. That's all I know. So I guess it would be maybe opposite for someone who's left-handed. If you're left-handed, let me know in the comments. If I say counterclockwise, do you go clockwise? Okay, so there we got that one again. And I'm just going to keep spinning my block until I've got all of these on there. Okay, one more. Oh, Aileen, you're so sweet. I love piecing. If I wasn't making cards, if I was still doing quilts, piecing is my favorite part. I shouldn't even call myself a quilter. I don't quilt, or any of the quilts that I ever did. One time I did hand quilt, do some hand quilting. If I made any size quilt, I handed it off to a long armor, a beautiful long armor, Karen Asman. If you're in the Toledo area, I always gave her my quilts, and she would machine quilt them for me. So really, to say I'm a quilter, true sense of the word, no. I'm a piecer. And I love like matching things up. Like I said before, when I'm putting quilts together that have triangles, I'm looking for my points to be, like they're all touching perfectly. Just something I strive for. So that's just something I put on myself. So Melinda says she's left-handed, but you do it in my way. Oh, great. Julie, there will be a replay. There will be a replay. And while we're talking about that, remember on Facebook, they only keep Facebook Lives for a month. And I don't upload my barn quilts, the block of the months. I haven't ever thought about uploading them to YouTube. My goodness, that would be a lot of work. I could figure it out, but usually I haven't been uploading Facebook Lives when we do our kit together to YouTube. Maybe I need to start rethinking that, because with Facebook deleting lives after a month, what if you didn't get around to putting your barn quilt together? I mean, we're crafters. We have UFOs up the wazoo. So I got to think about that, because how would someone go back who's got the kit if they want to watch? Okay, that gives me something to think about. I will figure that out. But Julie, yes, you can watch the replay. And for the next 30 days, Facebook will leave it alone. So now the last little piece that we have to put in is our little clouds covered squares, and they're just going to fit. Think of these two pieces as the sides of a bow tie, but our square isn't going to be in the center. It's going to be, kind of like sticking up from there, but it's going to fill in. Do you see how we've got this part right here? This is where our little squares are going to fit in. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to make our little squares fit in that area. Now, in the end, we will have a pencil line here on the outside to erase, but that's the only pencil line we got to worry about. Okay, so I'm just going to keep spinning it around, and we'll get this finished up. And then we'll bring in our card bases. I'll give you a look at the alternative layout that is in the PDF. So you're really getting 3 ideas in one PDF. And you want to look at that bonus. I don't know if it's a bonus or an alternative. I'm not really sure what I should call it. You might want to look at that. Your blocks are going to be the same. Your blocks aren't going to change. But you know, you might have to, the instructions might have you adding another score line to your card base or something. So you're going to want to figure out, well, which card do I want to do? Do I want my quilt block on the alternative? Do I want my quilt block as is? Always read your instructions first and then decide which way you're going. Okay, so there is your second quilt block. Now I will go back and I will erase those pencil lines, and then I will run it through the subtle embossing folder. I already have one done, ready to go for our card bases. Okay, now at this point, I think I'm going to zoom. I'm going to zoom in because we don't need to be that close for this part. And my chair is caught on something. There we go. Okay, let's get these out of the way. Kelly, if I save the live to my favorite, will it disappear? It will. It will disappear. From everything I've read, saving it. Now, you know what? If there's the option to download it to your computer, I wonder if you oh my goodness. I would think that if you have the option to download it to your computer, it's now saved on your computer. So would it disappear? I don't know. I don't know a lot. I'm not super computer savvy. I know how to get around for what I need to do. I think if you just save it, it'll disappear. But if there's the option to download and you've got it on a device, I'm hoping that you'd be able to go back and get it. I mean, how can they take it off of your device? I don't know. So, Cheryl, it would save you uploading? And Cheryl's like, can you run simultaneous live on both Facebook and YouTube going forward? I will have to look into that. I don't know. I know I've got enough followers on YouTube that I can go live. I've just never tried it. I know you have to have so many followers before YouTube lets you do that. And I think I have met that threshold. That is something. Cindy says she's 3 barn quilt months behind. Cindy, get with me, okay? And there might be, I'll figure it out. But don't panic. I've got them all saved to my computer. And so far, none of them have gone away. So I better go back and check on that. I don't think they have. I will have to go back and look. Because I remember when Facebook made this announcement, I know that, like in card play, the retreat that Karen Titus and Holly and I and Barb and Julie do, when Facebook announced that, we went back into at least 2 card play retreats prior, and we downloaded our videos so that we would have a way to upload them so people who participated in card play could go back. Oh my goodness, I'll figure it out. It's a little overload for me right now, but it's very good questions, and these are things that I need to be aware of so that I can help you guys get your projects done. So I will go back and I will read all the comments, and I will take your advice on what I should be looking at and get something figured out, okay? So here's our two blocks. Where are my card bases? Oh, here's my, Those are the two that I just did. Where are they? Ah. No. Oh, here they are. Julie, my goodness, they would right in front of you. So here's the designer series paper that inspired the colors. And actually it reminds me of like a paisley shirt, maybe. I just thought that this was a really neat print. And so that's where the colors came from, were colors that I saw in this piece of designer series paper. So what I've already pre-done is I used some designer series paper on the back, put a little strip on the inside just to you know, fancy it up a little bit. And I've already got my panel on the front of my card base. So all I've got to do is flip my barn quilts over, put some dimensionals on the back, and I forgot to get out my little metal embellishments. So I will have to do that later, but you'll see on the two cards that are already finished where I put those. So now that you've got your dimensionals on the back, before you take the backings off and put them down, kind of play with what the pattern looks like on point. You know, because it's amazing how the pattern can change just by turning it a little bit. So just decide, you know, do you like it square? I like this block square. I don't know. It's different, but I don't know. I kind of like it square. So decide what you want. With this block, what does it look like? I like it on point too. I like it square and I like it on point. So before you put those take those backings off and put it down, play with what you like. You know, do you like it on point or do you like it? See, there's square. So if I did this on point, that's what it looks like on point. This is already squared. And you can see I've got my little embellishments in there. And then this is on point, and this is square. So maybe I should just do a set of each. Maybe I should. Do these still look like wrenches if they're on point? I think they do. I'd have to, somewhere in here is my little, where are they? I can't find them. I'll find them later. You don't want to have to sit here and watch me do that. Do you think this looks okay on point? So Lori likes the wrench on point. Okay. And right now, you guys, I think the older videos, I just saw a comment. Facebook has been telling me that I have till June 27th to download any of the old videos. It's the ones like right now, like they've already told me that my April video was going to be deleted. You may still have time. You may have till June 27th to go back and get any older ones. But if it's 30 days old, Facebook has already removed it. I am so glad I caught that comment because it just reminded me of the email that I got that said I had till June 27th to do something with my older videos before they go and they wipe them all out. Okay. It looks great. Okay. Okay. Then that's what we're going to do. I wish I had a tech person that I could hire. have a tech person to figure out all my computer stuff, because I love using the computer as long as I know just exactly what I have to do. It gets to any tech and troubleshooting and stuff like that, I totally become very anxious and don't know what I'm doing or where to even start looking to figure it out. Anymore, you just can't trust sites that you think will be helpful. I mean, I am so overcautious about anything on the computer. You know, whether it's trustworthy or not. So that's kind of my apprehension on some things is, gosh, you know, how do I know they're on the up and up? Okay, so there's on point versus square. I will add my little screws and my wrenches and put my little screw in my circular saw, blade or saw, whatever. And that is the May barn quilt block of the month. And the other, like the bonus project, what we did was we did a tower card. And you're using the same supplies that I have given you in your card kit. You had to, I think, I don't know, did we add a score line or something to make the tower card? And then here is where I added some of that designer series paper. And then handmade for you, put some gems there. And this is a Happy Father's Day card. So made a little tower card for Father's Day. So that was just kind of like a bonus project. And you can still use the supplies that I gave you in the kit. That's why you want to look at the bonus project first, because you want to see what you're going to have to do with the card base if there's any alterations that you got to make. So we did a little tower card. Okay. Do you want to see what June looks like? I kind of gave away a hint in my Thursday Facebook Live. I kind of gave away a hint. Because this has been an ongoing theme for ever since I started doing the barn quilts, and June came around so that these cards would be ready for July. Okay, so these are June's. These are June's, this is the card kit for June. It's in celebration of 4th of July that's coming up. Now, if you are not in the United States, don't let the red, white, and blue, you know, still a beautiful color palette, but you can substitute your own country's flag's colors into these barn quilts, or you can just totally use any colors that you want. But I like to do a July patriotic for July 4th card kit, because I know a lot of you make patriotic cards for veterans. And I thought that you could use these patterns in your card making when you do make, you know, cards for veterans, or maybe you do cards for soldiers. And so this is a pattern and something that you can use for those situations. Okay, so that is June. We're using Secret Sea as the card base, Cloud Cover, which takes on a blue, and I use the swirl embossing folder. I think it looks like a stucco type building, so I got that swirl in there. And then we've got Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, and Cherry Cobbler as for our red. And what I love about, see these little corners, don't they look like birds? I imagine them as eagles flying in the corners of this block. I think they look like little birds. And so I'm just going to make them, in my mind, they're eagles. Since that is our country icon. So just a little whimsy there, that when I was putting it together, I saw birds happening in my quilt block. So Cindy, yes, Cindy, if you haven't seen her post, she paints like 4-inch. Cindy, how big of a block have you painted? She actually has started painting mini barn quilts. And Cindy, these would be absolutely great patterns for you so that you can paint your mini barn quilts. Absolutely. In fact, I would love to see them. So there's my challenge for you, Cindy. Paint these barn quilts. So anyway, is there any questions? Again, if you're watching and you're new, and you've got some questions about this card kit, then please look for that Google form. It's pinned on the Chirpy page. If you have a hard time finding it, please just message me, because I can easily send you the link. You can read it over, see what option works best for you. And as long as you get that form back to me by June 9th, I can get you in starting in June. Now, this is not a subscription. I let people come in and out. You know, like if they like it, they pay the invoice. If they don't want it, a lot of the times people will send me a message and say, Julie, I'm going to pass on May. And I'll thank you. I really appreciate that. Otherwise, I wait till like maybe the 20th, 21st, 22nd. And if there's any invoices hanging out there, I close them, because to me, you have decided to pass and I don't want to bother you. I'm just going to close out that invoice. But that's all explained in the Google form. Okay. So I'd love for you to at least give it a shot. You're not locked into anything. And if you want just the PDF, it's $12.50. So you're getting the 2 patterns plus whatever I decide to throw in there as a bonus. If you want the kit, which is the cardstock, you have to cut your own pieces according to the PDF. That's $2.50 more. So that'd be $15, and that includes the shipping. So you let me know if it's something you would like to give a try. And with that, I think that's it for tonight. Thank you for spending your Saturday evening with me. And Cindy's kind of given some directions. She has shared her painted barn quilts. We have a private group that's connected with the Chirpy Card Maker. It's called Quilt Cards and More. You do have to answer join questions. That I am adamant about answering 3 simple little questions. But you will find in that group, there's a section that's called Files. So when I do my Thursday Facebook Lives, if there's a PDF, that's where I go to upload that file. It's also where you're going to find other files that members have uploaded with patterns that they have drawn and generously sharing with everybody to create their quilt blocks. So you want to become a member of the group. We would love to have you. Facebook doesn't let me store any PDFs on my business page, so I have to have somewhere to go. I don't have a blog. I don't have those other resources to put them, so I put them in the files over in our community group. Okay? So check out Quilt Cards and More. Cindy's kind of guiding people over to that group so that you can check out her painted barn quilts. So with that, I am going to say good night. Good Sunday morning to you, Susan. And hello, Ida. And hey, Kathy. And I'll just be seeing everybody come next Thursday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time when I do another Facebook Live on the Chirpy page, okay? Everybody have a blessed evening. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Otherwise, I will just connect with you over in the group if that's where you are. We all hang out a lot together over in the group. So on a daily basis, we hang out. So there's always a way to get a hold of me if you have any questions or anything like that. So enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll be talking to you soon. Alrighty.